they needed binding material. And you could probably see the brownish material. Okay, here, now, rectangular block. And show me the one with the, okay, you see the first row, the second row, the third row is below, and this is the first layer. Yeah, the second row. Good, good, good. They're on top of each other. That's not what the Mother Nature does. Mother Nature does not construct, but intelligent hands. And the binding material is either melted clay, and they got clay everywhere, or the lime-based material. So they used even some additives. So these are sandstone plates on the moon pyramid, the Bosnian pyramid of the moon. They cut those plates, and then we can see three rows of those terraces. To claim that this is natural, I mean, obviously those geologists, they don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, I keep seeing people that just need to go there. If they just go there, it's impossible not to see it.
Yes.
If you read a book, you don't have to look at it, I guess.
But the ancients were smart. They always used natural construction material because they knew properties of those materials. What we do today, everything's artificial. We made plastic, we made artificial cement, we made artificial rubber. Well, that's our problem. They used natural construction materials.
Have you found any similar type concrete or geopolymer in any other sites around the world that you've mentioned? Because, for example, in Caesarea in Israel, like the dock they had there, or whatever, the port, it was constructed of some sort of geopolymer concrete that's supposedly extremely strong. Have you ever heard of that? Or
Caesarea is the site and the first artificially made port, harbor in Eastern Mediterranean. At that time, they had two more, Alexandria and Gaza. Today, they don't have a port in Gaza. They used to have thousands of years back. Caesarea was made by King Herod, and they wanted to please the Roman Empire. And he was using Roman concrete. Ancient Roman concrete is one of the hardest and the best concrete material. They were adding the volcanic dust, and it would last literally forever. Even in the sea condition, the sea would actually make it even harder. So the example of Caesarea is a huge construction feat, but we know exactly when did it happen, by who, and why, and how. But excellent example of ancient Roman technology.
How hard is that compared to the Bosnian concrete that you're...
I have not measured that. I don't have a record of that. Of course, that the port is gone right now, and the Caesarea is a famous touristic place nowadays. Also important for Bosnia, since I'm from Bosnia. You know, the Bosnia was part of the Ottoman Empire. 1878, Austria-Hungary took over, and some Bosnians went from this part of Ottoman Empire, Bosnia, all the way through Balkan, then today's Turkey, to Caesarea. That was actually in other extreme, the farthest point from Bosnia. They were so upset with Austrian coming to Bosnia, and they had their village in Caesarea. So when I go to Caesarea, I like to go to that place.
Well, I was going to say, also have Croatian and Bosnian family, and when they came to California and America, like, they're known for their concrete. Like, I have a great uncle who died. He had secret recipe for concrete, and it's known he would like go in the night to get what he needed because he didn't want anyone to know where he was going. But I think he was going to the beach, by the way. So there's seashells a lot of the time is involved.
Yeah, you are right. Actually, they were using seashells.
The key part of the geopolymer reaction with the lime in it and the chemical.
Yeah, they were adding seashells in Mexico. They were adding the eggs,
and the seashells actually, as the cracks happen and the water comes in and it erodes, it actually then triggers the chemical reaction more and recrystallizes the block.
The crystals
so
grow.
It's rehealing. It's self-healing by putting those seashells in. It's literally ingenious architecture.
What they were adding in the case of Bosnian concrete, they were adding the granite dust. Granite. We have granite, 5 kilometers from the Sun Pyramid.
How are they getting the granite into dust? How are they breaking it down?
That's actually
obviously they were grinding it somehow.
No, it's you have to see Dr. Bob Greenyer of the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project's work on what he's dubbed the wind hex, and it's through creating these tornado just wind vortexes, it's able to ionically break down the granite and put it into this fine powder that they then use as the
also,
cemented
you've
wall.
got naturally occurring carbonate mineral phosphates like tufas, right? Tufas are like in the minerals that calcify. They're kind of the closest thing you have to naturally occurring concrete or tufas. Like, how are tufas different? I mean, obviously they're more brittle and everything, but how do we? And are there any tufas that are like square slabs? Is there any way that they could be naturally occurring tufas? Like, or how can we prove they're not?
Well, there's the same question for the granite. They found so many stone spheres in Costa Rica from granodiorite. That's the type of granite. Now they are at odds. How to explain that? They are stone balls, spherical. Granite never comes spherical in nature. So we simply need to open ourselves for different past civilizations.
Now I have to wonder about disasters. Do you know about are there any historical volcanoes, eruptions, or like major disasters in the history of Bosnia? Like that would have accounted for some prehistorical loss of history, No,
not really. We never had so many volcano eruptions over here, and then the geology of the terrain is different. But I think the worst thing that happened to our planet was this end of the last ice age, 11,700 years ago, when more than 99% of humanity was wiped off from the face of the planet. Just a very few who got hidden in the underground tunnels or natural caves on the top of the mountain survived. When they got out, the knowledge has been lost, so we can see discontinuation. So whatever was built before that was forgotten, no records at all. But then we can see also that even during our recorded history, those libraries, they had so many manuscripts and books and so on. They've been intentionally, put on fire. Alexandria, Baghdad, Istanbul, Damascus, and so on. Some things were stolen and they are still in the private collections by elites, but most of it has been destroyed. Tibet,
the
Chinese
Vatican Library. That's what I say.
Yes, Vatican had two libraries. They had public library, and they even have, Vatican secret library. And it says, you go to the phone book, it says Vatican secret library. I called them, I contacted them, asked them about the Bosnian pyramids, and they answered me, well, we don't have records about the Bosnian pyramids, but they have a secret library. So probably they had the third one, which is super, super confidential and secrets. But the things were destroyed when Diego de Landa, the Spanish archbishop, came to Central America. He was destroying all the Maya manuscripts. Only 4 books, 4 codexes survived. But even those 4 are so amazing. I'll just mention one of them. It's called
only
Dresden.
Up until the 1980s, they literally taught that the Mayan, the Aztec, and the Inca had no language, no written language, no recorded language. And then it comes out that the Jesuits, Catholic Spanish, genocided their complete history.
Well, the Jesuits always told me that we had those 4 books, so poo-poo on you. But
so we have Dresden Codex, Paris, Madrid Codex, and Grolier, which is in Mexico. Probably 2 more, Prague and New York. But let me tell you one thing from Dresden Codex. So you open these books, and then you can see symbols for the planet Venus, and you can see symbols for the god Chuck. They're always related.
Oh.
And you can see 4 numbers. 4 numbers. The first number is 236. Maya, we know their numbers. I know that they're very simple. 1 dot is number 1, 4 dots number 4, 1 bar, 1 line is number 5, 3 bars, number 15. 4 dots, 3 bars, 4 plus 15, 19. The first row is 19, the second row 20 to 400, and so on. So they have 4 numbers: 236, 80, 250, and 8. What is 236? The Maya call them the night star. Why? Because in the night sky, you can see the planet Venus. It's very light. And then 80 is the number of days when the Venus is hidden behind the sun. And then 250, now we can see Venus again. They call it morning star.
They are obsessed with the morning star, aren't they?
Number 4 is 8. Again, Venus is hidden behind the sun. When you add those 4 numbers, 236 and 80 and 250 and 8, you get the number 592, I guess. 592. 5 years, 5 cycluses of Venus is 2,920. And exactly match 8 our years. 8 times 365, 2,920. You go to Uxmal, which is in Yucatan, eastern Mexico, a beautiful palace. All the pyramids are at the north-south axis except for one. The Spanish, they didn't know better. They name it the Palace of the Governor. It's so monumental. It's 19 degrees off to the north-south. Why 19 degrees? Because at the night sky, the Venus is at 19 degrees in most southern position. And then there is a temple 20 kilometers away, also at 19 degrees. You connect them, you got the line, through which the planet Venus is moving. And on this Palace of Governor, northeastern and northwestern wall, you can see the numbers 5 to 8, 5 to 8, 5 to 8, 5 Venuses cycles, and 8 hour years. So smart. And you are right about explanation about the Mayan. If you go to Encyclopedia Britannica in 1980, it will state that the Maya were not civilization, they were Neolithic society. No wheels, primitive stone tools, warlike, fighting all the times, sacrificing the enemies. That's how they describe them, as very primitive. Wrong, 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 wrong. Very advanced astronomically, mathematically, artistic. 21 calendars. Long count, 5,125 days. 5 long count calendars. Exactly the time needed for our solar system to make full circle within our galaxy Milky Way. How did they know that? We needed 100 years with our telescopes and computers.
How similar is the mythology in Bosnia compared to other places around the world that you visited?
We don't really have oral traditions about the Bosnian pyramids. We have people talking, there is something mysterious. During the last war in 1990s, when Visoko was bombarded, when the projectile would hit natural hill, that was a sound you would expect from the compact hill. But when it would hit the pyramid, you could hear the echo. Why? Because of inner passageways and chambers. But no oral traditions. However, what we have, the Maya tradition talks about the Pleiades, 52 years, very important for them, 52 years. They even had on their astronomical observatories in Mayapan, in Chichen Itza, observatories called Karakol. They had 2 window openings. One was looking at the Pleiades when it was in the most southern position, and another one, the most northern. 52 years, very important. They had 3 calendars based on the Pleiades. One is 52 years, another one 13 times 52 years, another one 20 times 52 years. In Bosnia, 4 pyramids, the Pyramid of the Sun, Moon, Dragon, and Love. When you put them on their layout, exactly match the map of the star system of Pleiades. 4 out of 7 stars of Pleiades perfectly match those 4 pyramids. So, does it mean something? Well, if the Orion belt, those 3 stars, are significant for the Giza pyramids and Teotihuacan pyramids and Palencia pyramids in Spain, it seems that the Bosnian pyramids have something to do with the Pleiades. And the most mentioned star system in all oral traditions around the world are the Pleiades, Navajo Indians, Hopi Indians, Pueblo Indians, Anasazis, southern US, Maya civilization, India, Indians from India, Aborigines, and now Bosnia.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say again, I with like family that were from Croatia and Bosnia, like you've got a place that's been conquered by everybody for so many, like the Turks, the Islamification, the Catholicization, the Orthodoxization, the Protestants, communism. So like a lot of the myths have been kind of subdued, but in general, there's still everyone's got stories about seeing fairies up in the hills, right? And it's like, or it's angels, or it's Mother Mary, or it's something from whatever. But it's like it's very, very common from everybody. And there's even like when I was saying like the whirling dervishes, like so there's a group there. There's a kind of monk that just spins. It just spins in order to experience God or to have kind of. So Bosnia's a really interesting place because a lot of people, for a lot of reasons, are there to have spiritual experiences and to see things, and particularly the idea of like going up into the mountain. And again, the Bosna is kind of named after the Bosna River that's flowing right underneath that pyramid. So it's almost everything kind of comes around to it.
Now, for the second time, you mentioned dervish. Dervish is the order within Islam. In the religions, people were not allowed to ask questions. Catholicism, Protestantism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam. However, there were always some orders that they were allowed to ask questions, and this is how they would improve their religions. Dervish, there are 12 orders of dervishes coming to Bosnia over the period of time. And those, the whirling dervishes, were the ones who could, during their ceremonies, go back to time, ask questions. And when I was starting the project back in 2005, 2006, I received a phone call. The guy said, okay, I'm one of the dervishes, and we had our session, and you are right. There is a pyramid there. There are 14 chambers inside the Bosnian sun. And not only that, it is much more than a pyramid. Then, it was 2006. Now imagine this. I'm there. I discovered the biggest pyramid, the oldest, the concrete blocks.
I believe in dervishes, man. I believe in what they
I'll come back to dervishes. The CNN was there doing breaking news. I'm on CNN. At that time, 2006, that was number one media in the world. ABC, MSNBC, BBC from London, ZF.
It was before they built the narrative.
And the guy is telling me there is something even more important than the pyramid. I said, how can it be more important? I'm at the top of the world. But then during the last 18 years, I realized, yes, much more important is pyramids as the energy machines. Affecting our lives, our food, our drink, our communication, our spiritual senses. It is much more than the pyramid. When the dervishes were traveling, before the Ottoman would conquer certain parts of Europe or Northern Africa or Middle East, first they would send dervishes. Dervish, they were usually the most intelligent, the most intellectual. They were traders also. They were spies for their armies and so on. They came to Bosnian territory, where Bosnia was kingdom, back in the 14th century. They came and they picked up two locations because they were always looking for the most energy potent places. The first place was in the southern Bosnia, close to the city of Mostar, near the town of Blagaj. There is a huge water source coming from the natural cave. There's the largest water source under any cave in Europe. Water, energy. And the second place was exactly the middle of the triangle between the sun, moon, and dragon pyramid in central Bosnia. Wow. The middle, because this is the most potent energy place. Maybe they did not know about the pyramids, but they knew about the energies.
And the water, right? Yeah.
Yes. And there is underground water there. So that's why the dervishes are important even for our project.
Interesting. Yeah, because again, they're downriver from you, and they have giant fish farming from the energy water. So if you're ever eating fish, eat the dervish pyramid water energy fish.
Yeah. So that's the exact opposite pyramid scheme of the specific Fukushima